The sky is falling. The sky is falling. Is that what it feels like? Hi, everyone. This is Market Sense with Lynn Kitchen, and I very much know that it feels like the sky is falling, like we are raining knives in the markets. And there's an old saying on Wall Street, don't catch a falling knife, meaning don't try to be a hero and buy when everyone else is selling because it may continue to move down. Well, this is an important lesson that some of us have to learn the difficult way. I certainly have in my past. So I thought I would take a moment to just put some perspective on what I think is going on in the market today. This is a 5-year chart of the Standard & Poor's 500 starting in 2020 when we were in the pandemic. And of course, if you know, as you know, we had a very, very strong bull market up to 2022 and then a normal correction. This correction took about a year. It goes a little bit down, but in a sideways channel right here, sideways channel until it breaks up into the next bull market trend. This is a normal correction of a previous market. Well, what happened in 2023? Then the market continued to move up from 2023 to the high in January, or February 19th to be exact, a high of 6,155, and then sharply declined to lower than 5,000 on the Standard & Poor's 500. This is a very, very sharp decline. It makes us all feel as if we are catching knives, as it is said in the market. However, it does beg the question, when is the market, is it possibly approaching a support level and a potential buy mark? When one learns what is a support level, you can actually see that the support level is right around 4,800, which is contributed to by the top of the previous bull market cycle. So that is actually the first level of support. If the market falls precipitously below that, then the chances are pretty good that we're going to have a continuing decline. And yet, this will take a moment. This is not something that is going to be answered immediately, very quickly, because oftentimes what happens is that that level, which is called a 1,000-day moving average, when the markets come down to that level, oftentimes there is a support period of time in which buyers begin to move back in and create a floor from which the market then continues its next move. Well, we're not there yet, but we have seen the first leg down, and that leg has been extremely sharp. I know how it feels. I've been there before by being over 40 years in the markets, 34 of which is as a professional money manager. I have seen very, very fast action downsides. And as I have been warning for months and months, when the downside comes, it can be very sharp, very volatile, and it's not something that you want to try to sell into. No, it's best now to just look upon your portfolio. If you did not take cash earlier, if you did not build cash earlier, then now is the time to then take a look at your portfolio more with a long-term point of view. If you did build some cash, which I've been calling for over the last 4 months, if you did build some cash, then you have some cash ready on the sideline, getting ready for the possibility that we may see a buying opportunity ahead. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to be the one to jump in. So I would invite you to be patient. I think patient is a very key word right now, because I do believe that we are in a new environment where our new normal is going to be one word: volatility. And you can see that it's a little bit like a saw-toothed saw. When we are moving into volatility ahead, it can easily look and feel like this, where the markets go down quickly, go back up quickly. We may have a sharp reversion up again. That would be normal, because oftentimes it's called a short covering rally. Those short covering rallies can be some of the fastest movements back up, but oftentimes they do not last. And it is important for us to have patience so that we can see what the trends are, allow the trends to show themselves. Well, that begs a new question. What trends are we looking for? And this is the important thing that in a market sense, I love to teach. And I want to invite you to a new opportunity that I'm creating as of this month called Wealth Builders Express. We'll put the link below so that you can check it out. Wealth Builders Express is a weekly group of investors that get together, and we actually look at the different demarcations of the market. We will be looking for buying opportunities, looking for what to buy and when to buy it. So those are the two questions I always get. Is it time to buy, and what should I buy? And those two questions can be answered with a great deal of intelligence. Wouldn't you like to be the kind of person that has a calm confidence about your next decisions? Isn't it true that we all want to make smarter choices about our money and our financials in general? I do. I'm certain that you do. But it's not just all about the money. It's also about creating wealth in every area, wealth in our health, wealth in our happiness, wealth in our harmony, wealth in our success, in building our successful businesses, and wealth over time so that we can build a legacy for our future generation. If that's something that resonates with you, then that's what we're all about in Wealth Builders Express. We have a lot of fun, so I'd like you to consider that. Now, let me move on to a little bit of a topic that I'm not saying that I told you so, but I am wanting to say that I have been saying for some time. The warning has been evident. We have known for a long time that a wake-up call is coming and that there's change ahead. I've been talking about this for the last 5 to 6 months. And I have, in the bottom line, I've been saying that we are in a sea change, a tectonic economic shift. And when that happens, the rules of the market always changes and shifts. What are those rule shifts? This is something that we talk about, that we study about inside the Wealth Builders Express. I'm inviting you to come check it out. But what I know to be true is that with this kind of change, what happens is that we have the potential for, yes, taking a lot of losses, but also the potential for enormous gain. And it's up to you. Making sure that you have the right tools at your disposal is a very, very important part of this. Now, it wasn't that long ago, only in December and January, December 2024, January 2025, that I was calling the markets parabolic in nature. No one had heard that before. And my friend said, "What are you talking about, a parabolic market?" But that's exactly what I was talking about. Here's what a parabola looks like, a parabolic chart going straight up. Well, let's just take a look at what the chart of Tesla looked like only 2 months ago. This is a point and figure chart of Tesla, a 5-year chart. It actually takes the price and squeezes the price, takes out the time, and it just shows the price action only. So right here, we're looking at the price action of Tesla booming on the upside to over $400 a share. And this was only 2 months ago. Now the price of Tesla has come right back down. But this was an example of a parabolic chart. It's come back down almost half, down to 225-ish from 400. Very, very sharp decline, nearly a 50% retracement. That happens when you have a parabolic chart like this. You can determine what's going to be the probability of the next move, and I was right. Just take a look at NVIDIA, also a parabolic chart going up. It went as high as 135, is corrected back down now to a little bit less than 100. When you see charts like this, you really actually know that smart decisions and choices can be important for you to make. And at the bottom, when at this time, I was actually calling for careful consideration. I was calling for building cash on the sideline. And I was looking at the overall markets as well, not just the individual stocks that make up the NASDAQ 100, but also the Standard & Poor's 500, the 500 of our largest stocks. This is a chart. You will be amazed. This is a chart of 500 stocks, Standard & Poor's 500 squeezed down to a 20-year chart that 20 years ago started here. And actually, when looked upon at this perspective, from this perspective, it's called a point and figure chart. I love point and figure charts. We can see that it went up very, very enormously fast over 20 years. And that represented one leg up, a second leg up, and a third leg up, which was enormously fast and furious. Just in the last 2 years, out of a 20-year chart, it went up 1/3 just in the last 2 years. And when I looked at that and saw that, I thought to myself, the markets are so overextended, like a rubber band being stretched so far and so to such tension that it made sense that the only possible probability was that it was going to start to contract and move back in the other direction, and it did. Now let me show you a chart of this same chart this morning. There it is. The red has been a retracement. The red zeros coming down shows that the market price of the Standard & Poor's 500 has retraced itself from the high way up here, which is the top of the blue X's, down to nearly 1/2 retracement of its previous accelerated leg up, which was exactly what I was predicting. In any time you have a parabolic chart of this nature, then you know that there's going to be a retracement, oftentimes at least by half or 1/3 of the previous move upward. And what that is exactly what we have received as of yesterday. And I understand in today's market, we thought we were going to have a rebound, but at the end of the day, that did not hold. So we have had a continuation of the downside. And look at that. That has been half of where we were, meaning that right here is equivalent in price of where we were in the markets 1 year ago this month. 1 year ago this month, April 2024, we're back to the price that we were in April of 2024. It's almost like lopping off the top half, and we have re-engaged where we were. Now, the markets were overheated. The markets had gone way too high, too fast. Isn't it true that we have experienced and are experiencing what I call a tectonic economic plates of change? Look at all the things that are changing, all of the underlying currents that are changing around us. We have the technology convergence. AI is a shifting enterprise. We have the policymakers of the Trump administration changing their policy completely, a complete change of direction, both in deregulation and calling for less growth in the government, as well as reducing taxes and shifting by means of uh, amazing uh, tariff policy shift. And we also have the pushback against the administration, whether or not that his policies are going to succeed. We will know that not only is there a great deal of resistance, but also um, Congress oftentimes have their the battle in front of them. So, in addition, not to mention, in an overall atmosphere of international tension, both in terms of war and in terms of trade. Now, international trade war. We're right in the middle of one. Uh, as it also looks like an interest rate push or pull, rising, falling, to be determined. But no matter what, the possibility of longer term inflation ahead points to, all of these things point to one thing, and that is uncertainty. And when we have higher uncertainty, then we know that there's going to be a higher risk premium baked into the cake of all markets everywhere, whether it's real estate, bonds, stocks, commodities, and so forth. We will all see a higher risk ahead. And that means higher volatility ahead. That's why I have been in the past saying build some cash so that you can have cash on the sideline to wait for buying opportunities. That's what we're doing now. We'll be holding for the cash that you have. I hope that you have invested it in high quality treasuries or money markets that getting 4% or better. You might consider treasury inflation protection bonds as well. They call TIPS. But definitely now is the time to wait for buying opportunities ahead. We might consider hedging with gold. However, gold has gotten a little bit too pricey now too. It may come down in price, and at that time it would be a good buying opportunity. But for right now, we need to be in a holding pattern, waiting for buying opportunities ahead. So here's what we need. In conclusion, we must, as CEOs and financial executives of our own life, we must make a decision to do three things. One, get smarter. We need to get a lot smarter because things are changing so fast. We may be in a paradigm shift where all the rules will change again. And therefore, it's important to be smarter. It's important to get a roadmap to make sure you know where you're going with the monies that you do have, and then making sure that you have quality, quality, quality. Why quality? Because quality lasts in the long run, and it lasts through stressful times. And the pricing mechanism of quality always comes back eventually. So quality, you need to make sure that you've got a good roadmap. And number three, you need to make sure you have a good mentor. I like to use the analogy of being in an airplane. You want to make sure that the pilot of your airplane has the knowledge and experience of going through turbulence. You want to make sure that that pilot knows exactly how to deal with turbulent times so that it gets you where you want to go, not just safely, but in a wonderful mood, and making sure that you have the opportunity to build your dreams in your life. So with that in mind, I want to invite you to an opportunity I have ahead called the Wealth Builders Express. It's a group of investors who come together weekly, and here's what we're going to be prioritizing: from overheated markets to opportunities ahead. And we're going to be prioritizing what's next. And we're going to be prioritizing exactly what you can do right now with what you have that will maximize good, solid decision making going forward, maximize the opportunities for building future wealth, and making sure that you make smarter decisions. Does that sound good to you? I hope so. If so, please consider joining me. It's a weekly program called Wealth Builders Express. You can find out all about it right here at lynnekitchen.com, and we'll put the link below so that you can join me. We're starting here in the month of April. It'll be lasting all year long, so you have the whole year in front of you to learn, to earn, to make better choices. And I can promise you this: once you begin to really understand how to make better decisions in the market, it will bleed over to other parts of your life, and it'll be knowledge and skill set, mindset and skill set that you will have for a lifetime. No one can ever take it away from you. Not your spouse, not your children, not no one else can take that away from you. So if this is something that you want for yourself, please reach out to me and let's get you going. I invite you onto the Wealth Builders Express, a weekly group of like-minded investors, and we do have a lot of fun. So consider joining me. All right, well, that's everything this week in Market Sense. I hope you join me next time when we will get together again with in looking at what's going on in the markets. Thanks, everyone. See you next time. Bye for now.